for yourself. You can sit in Sukhasana here or back on your heels, whatever works for you. Good. And then when you feel like you've established a really nice seat, let your hands and your arms find a comfortable position. And then when you feel that, let your eyes close. Dropping in this morning, this feeling, the rhythm of the breath, not changing anything right now. Just notice how you're coming onto your mat without making or giving yourself a job or a duty. So just at this moment, right? Sometimes just getting on our mats, that could be a big job of the day. So just find some nice relaxation here. Drop into the breath. Just notice the quality of your breathing. Every time you exhale, feel like the shoulders get a little bit lighter, a little softer. Every time you inhale, start to feel length through your spine. And take 3 breaths where you feel like you're breathing just into your back body. You feel the back ribs, the backs of the lungs, even down into the low back expand. And then take 3 breaths into the front body. You can have that vision of feeling like there's a balloon in the front body and you're filling that up. All the way up into the middle ribs, all the way up into the collarbones. Now breathing into the right and left side of your body. It can be helpful sometimes if you want to put your hands around your rib cage or around your waist to give you a guide so that you feel the breath move outward into the hands as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, the hands gently draw back in towards the spine. Doing some breath awareness right now so that we feel certain parts of our bodies. We really have a moment to just be more mindful where we're breathing, how we're breathing. Now take 3 breaths where you feel like you're breathing into the entire torso evenly. So into the back, into the front, and into the sides. You can even feel like the top of the inhale comes all the way up into the armpits and into the chest. It's very important though, whenever you're doing any type of breath awareness work or any type of pranayama, to make sure that you're not over-efforting. If you try too hard, you're going to strain. And chances are you'll start to initiate the secondary muscles to work more than your primary muscles for respiration. Just slow it down. We all know that slowing down is a way that we become more mindful and aware of our actions. Let the next inhalation pull the hands to the heart. So as we move this morning together on our mats, keep this breath awareness. So as though you feel, or you can tune in to any areas that feel like there's just a block of energy, or you feel as though the breath isn't really getting into a certain part of the body that you want. Just having that awareness as we move, breathe together, and taking a moment here with your hands at your heart. And it's very important not to get discouraged whenever we start to move with certain types of pranayama. I was reading a quote this morning from Maya Angelou. It says, "Do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know better, you do better." Release the hands, open the eyes. Okay, so I would suggest sitting on a blanket if you have one, just so that the low back stays nice and cared for. You're going to make sure that your right shin is crossed, or your right foot is crossed in front of your left foot. Okay. And then we're going to reach the arms out and up, full breath in. And then drop your chin just slightly. Feel like you're doing like a 10% of a cat pose. So the pelvis will roll into a posterior tilt, and you're looking down towards your belly. And then as you inhale, anterior tilt your pelvis, come forward and find some extension through the spine, look up. Exhale. Look back towards the navel. If it's too much for you to keep your arms overhead, you can have your hands interlaced behind your back. Behind the back of your head. Inhaling again, looking up, roll the pelvis forward so you're coming more forward on your sits bones. Exhale, round. Look down into the navel. 2 more times, inhaling, coming forward. Really reach up through the arms, lift the chin as much as you can. Exhale, moving up the spine, vertebra by vertebra, looking down to the navel. Inhaling, coming up. Reach a little higher if you can. Exhale, and round a little more if you can. Reach up. Bend the left elbow just a little bit and reach up through the right. Come back to center, bend the right elbow and reach up through your left arm. Good. And then we're going to bring the left arm down to the floor, reach the right arm back up overhead. Take a moment here, really find that grounding action through the outer right hip. The left hand pushes down and away to help encourage that. And then turn your belly and your chest a little bit more open to the right. Reach the right arm up a little bit more, and if you can, look up to the right hand. And then pull your right arm as close as you can towards your face. So you really don't even have to lean, but just the action of taking your arm closer towards your face is going to give you more elongation through the right side. Pushing down through the left hand so the shoulder doesn't draw in towards the ear. Take one more breath here. And then you're going to inhale, come up, reach both arms up overhead. Interlace the fingers, push the palms forward towards the front of the room. Good, and then round again. Chin into chest, tail tucks. Inhale, come back up. Find that extension through the spine, so a little bit of a back bend. Good, and then right hand comes down. Really reach the left arm high out of the waist. Walk the right hand out to what's ever comfortable. Same thing, push the floor down and away, outer left hip really grounds. And just take a moment here, reaching the left arm to see how that feels to the left side of your body. Take a full breath in, and as you exhale, just pull the left arm closer towards the face. There's plenty of opportunity to go further in just a moment, so try to stay with the simplicity of this shape right now. Just feeling that long line through the left hip all the way out through the left fingertips. And then the belly and the chest turn a little to the left. You can look forward or start to let the eyes slide out to the left hand. Inhale, come back up. Both arms reach back up overhead. Take the fingers to interlace again, but bring the weird finger, the one that feels awkward, the non-habitual finger on top. And then push the palms out. As you push the palms forward, you round through the spine. Take the inhale, breathe into the entire torso all the way up. Lift the gaze a little bit. Exhale, release the arms down. Let's bring the left leg in front now, just to switch sides. Inhale, arms reach up. You're going to take the right hand down this time. And this time the left hand's going to come and hold behind the head. So right where it feels like your neck meets your head. And the heel of your hand is right at the occipital ridge. So you're creating a little bit of a lift. The tailbone nice and grounded. And then as we inhale, let's open the left elbow up, look up. And as you exhale, you'll draw your left elbow in towards your right hip. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. So feel how the pelvis and the hips stay very stable. They're very still here. So just noticing where this movement is coming from, where it's initiating from. So the waistline, moving up the spine, moving into the head, into the shoulder. One more time, exhale, round. Now release your left hand and then let your left hand line up to the right knee as best as you can. Your right hand can walk a little further behind you, so you're in a little bit more of a rotation here. Keeping the outer left hip and the left knee down. And sweep the left arm back up. Sweep the right arm back up. Interlace the fingers. Push the palms forward, round through the spine. Tuck the chin into the chest. Inhale, come back up. Look up. Release the left hand down. Take the right hand behind the back of the head. Hold the head, heel of the hand, or the heel of the pinky side, right into the base of the head. As we inhale, open up, look up. Exhale, right elbow in towards the left side body. You can do this eyes open or closed. Very simple, basic movement. And closing the eyes allows you to just let the gaze move more inward so you can be more aware and mindful of how you're moving, how your breath is filling up the spaces in the body. Maybe it's Ujjayi breath you'd like to come to, and that's perfectly fine. One more time. Keep pushing the left hand down, outer right hip grounds. Pull your right elbow back as much as you can. And then as you exhale, round. Draw the low belly in. And now the right hand's going to slide and line up somewhere. It can be in front of the left shin, that's fine. It can even be high up on your fingertips. The left hand has a really important job here to keep the outer right hip grounded, so you don't let your right hip lift up as you turn and rotate to your left. You're in a slight forward fold, so there's a little bit of flexion of the spine. Push off of the left hand, reach the right arm up, both arms back overhead one more time, interlacing the fingers, push the palms forward, lean into your back. As you inhale, coming forward, lift the arms, look up. Good. Exhale, release your arms down. Good. All right. And then coming onto hands and knees, go ahead and move whatever you're sitting on out of the way. Just feel your hands spreading out on the earth, the tops of your feet pushing down to the earth. Just take a moment here, find a neutral spine. Feels like the low belly sucks in and up, like there's a little vacuum, sucking the low belly up. Notice how that alters your low back. A little softness in the back of the chest. So you feel like you're softening in the back of the heart. Notice if your head is way down here, so pull your head up so you find length through the sides of your neck even. Good, and you're going to curl the toes just slightly. Hips drop back to heels, not all the way. And then arms walk over to the right, reaching more with your left arm as your left hip drops back towards your left heel. Your right arm can be really passive with your forearm on the floor, or you can bend your right elbow to 90 degrees, push your right hand into the floor. And that just keeps your chest a little bit more parallel, level to the earth. Draw the left hip back a little bit more as you walk your left fingertips any slight bit more forward. Relax your neck, your head. Just feel the breath moving in and out of the left side of your body. Push into the right hand, come back up, find your way onto all fours. And just take a moment here and observe and feel. The right side is really asking for the same stretch. So now we're going to walk hands to the left. Right hip pulls back to right heel, reaching through the right arm. Left hand can find any position that feels like it really supports your neck and your shoulders. So it can be here, here. You can see that my hips aren't all the way back on my heels. I'm just leaning back towards the heels to find that nice, elongated right side body. So many muscle attachments up into the shoulders and the back of the neck that run all the way down through the torso and attach to the front, the sides, and the back of your hips. And then we push into the left hand, coming back up to center, find our way into tabletop position. And then from here, start to move very organically. Close your eyes and start to make some circles through your hips, your shoulders, and your head. Not worrying at all about what it looks like, if you're doing it correctly or perfectly. Tune in more to how it feels. And if you're drawn to opening up or giving attention to one side of your body more so than the other. Just about 20 more seconds here. Make sure that you're going in both directions. Always seeking that balance. Good, and then coming back to center, toes curl, hips lift up and back for downward facing dog. Do what you need to here. If you need to bend your knees, it's perfectly fine. If you want to pedal your feet out a little bit, just to feel for the backs of your legs. Ultimately, our focal point in downward facing dog is going to be the side bodies, just really feeling nice and long through the outer hips all the way down the out seams of the arms, all the way up to the fingertips. And then exhale, please come down to your knees. Inhale, lift up. Interlace fingers overhead. Arc over to the right. Inhale back up, arc over to the left. Coming back up. Push the shin bones down. You can have your toes pointed too if that works better for you. Exhale again to the right. This time turn a little bit to the left, look up. Inhale, come up, arc to the left. Turn a little bit to the right, look up. Inhale, come back up, release, arms back down. Find your way back into tabletop, lift hips up and back, downward facing dog. Exhale, come back down to the knees. Please lift the right leg back behind you. Keep the right kneecap pointing down. Keep the low belly drawing in. And again, be very mindful that the head doesn't drop. So feel the back of the skull lifting. And then you're going to step your right foot over to your left, trying to get the center of the heel to point straight up to the sky. Drawing your right hip over to the right a little bit. Try to reach your arms long as you're looking over the left shoulder. If that's too much, just keep your gaze down right between the center of the hands. Take the inhale, bring the leg back up. As you exhale 3 times, come right down your midline. Inhaling, kicking back, looking up, find extension through the spine, exhale, round. Kick the leg back up, lift the chest a little higher, lift the leg a little higher, and drop your right knee down. Inhale, take the left leg back, find the left kneecap pointing down, and then from there, left foot steps over as much as you can to the right. If you can see your left foot, try to see that it's in one nice straight line. And as you breathe into the Ujjayi breath, that fullness of the breath, let's feel the left side receive the breath. The right side is in a little bit more compression. Notice how this feels in your low back. Inhale, bring the leg back to center. Lift the leg a little higher, the chest and the head 3 times. Exhale, round. Left knee drops back down to the floor. Swing your right foot over to the right. Step your left foot out. So the right knee and the left foot and the right hand all line up in one nice line. Left arm reaches overhead, and then squeeze your left arm towards your face as much as you can. Feel free to pull the hips a little bit more forward, and then reach the left arm. Look up towards your left hand if your neck is okay with that. And then release the left knee, release the left hand. Take the left foot behind you, reach your right leg out, line everything up as best as you can. Right arm reaches overhead. And as you push down to the outseam of the right foot, reaching right arm, squeeze it in towards the face. And right hand down, right knee down. Curl the toes, lift hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a full inhalation all the way down into the belly. A little pause and exhale. Inhale, come forward to high plank. Lower down to earth. Inhale, come up into your cobra. Exhale, pull your hips back, down dog. Looking forward, step, float, however you like to get to the top of your mat. When you get there, really establish that strong foundation through your feet. Reach long through your toes, anchor through your heels. Bend the knees if you need to and fold your way in. Let your head shake out a little bit. Just feel some of that weight maybe that you're carrying and holding onto the shoulders. Just let that go best as you can. And then from here, bending at the knees, either come up with flat back or roll up, your choice, all the way up to standing. Shoulders come to the ears. Exhale, roll the shoulders back and down. I'll show you this from the front. You're going to take your, let's take the left foot, cross the left foot behind the right. Now your hips are going to turn a little bit to your left. Okay, so you want to try to square your hips as much as you can so you'll feel some pressure right into your inner thighs. And then inhale, reach your arms up. Take the right hand, clasp your left wrist, and then lean over to your right. Inhale, come back up, release the arms, step your left foot next to the right, right foot crosses behind the left. Arms reach up overhead, left hand catches the right wrist, lean to the left. Good, inhale, come back up and find your way into Tadasana. Take a moment here, stamp your feet down, find strength in your legs. Slight micro bend in the knees if you feel that's more comfortable for you. You never want to feel like you are rigid or hard in your joints as best as you can. You almost want to feel this lifting action out of the joints once they have found a nice stable place. And it's kind of like us, right? We find that place of stabilization, of security, emotionally and physically, and then from there we expand and we grow out. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold your way forward. Just notice with the work that we've done so far, how that feels on your low back. Should feel like it brings an ease. Remember to squeeze your inner legs as you drop your head a little lower. And then please step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg to the sky as you exhale 3 times. And squeeze the knee in, right down the midline. And the 3rd time, hold in just for a moment, so you're really trying to pull your thigh bone in towards your chest. And then you'll step your right foot through. Let's drop the back knee. Inhale, reach your arms up. Now if you have a block, you can use a block if your right fingertips don't come down to the floor. So I'll show you with a block. So you can see the block is right about out of the hip, okay? And then I'm going to reach the left arm up and then lean over to the right. You may drop your block a little lower, right? And squeeze the left arm close to the face. Release the left hand down. Lift the back leg. You could take the block to the left hand if you need it. Right arm reaches to sky, spinal twist. Squeeze the right hip in by isometrically feeling as though you're turning your right foot clockwise. But it doesn't move. It's just a way to integrate more energy into the hip. Both hands down to the floor, step right foot back to meet left. Find your way to plank, lower down, keep side bodies nice and long. Tack all 10 toes down. Inhale, rise up for cobra. Exhale, hips pull back, down dog. Inhale, left leg to sky. 3 times. Down the midline. And that 3rd time, you hover just a little bit. And left foot steps through. Right knee drops down. soon as we start to move into salutations, it gets a little warmer. So if you want the block lined up to the left hip, you'll take your block. Inhale, arms reach to sky. Left hand down to any prop. It can be a chair, whatever you have. Right arm reaches up and then lean left. And then right arm squeezes, squeezes, squeezes into face. You can feel from the center of the quads all the way up through that front line, all the way out through the pinky finger. Inhale, coming up. Both hands down, lifting back knee. Finding spinal twist, left side. Now, as you stamp your left foot down without your left foot moving, feels like it turns counterclockwise. And that really strengthens the left hip. Reaching both arms out of the chest. And left hand down, left foot back. Finding high plank, lower to earth. Inhale, coming up. Take a moment here and feel all 10 toes, especially the pinky toes, pushing down. Feel how that inner spirals all the way up to the inner thighs. Bending the elbows slightly, shoulder heads pull back, head pulls back, look up. Exhale, either child's or downward facing dog. You choose. Go to a place that you can really be investigative with your breathing. Right, so again, you don't feel strain or struggle. And if the practice is new to you, of course, we can definitely feel a little bit of that struggle. But it's just like the quote earlier, right? You do your best, and then when you know better, you do better. Lift right leg to sky, please. Bend the right knee, open the right hip up. Be mindful of what's happening with your left leg. Don't let it rotate in. Keep squeezing into your left hip. And then from here, lift the right heel back up to the sky, sweep your right foot through, find your way coming into high lunge. Of course, it can be low lunge if that's where you are this morning. As the hips drop, the arms reach. Look up. And then we're going to slide the right arm behind us, reaching the left arm in front of us. Try to feel the head right over the center of the chest right over the core of the pelvis. Inhale, come back up to center. Drop the hips a little lower if you can. And then we're going to bring the hands to the chest, taking another spinal twist. So as you lean forward here, find length through your sides. And then as you exhale, left elbow drops to right thigh. Palms push together. Reaching back through the leg, forward through the heart. Turn and rotate to any degree. The gaze is steady. Release. Okay, so now you're going to push off of your back foot. Find your way coming into a standing split. And then your hands can be at blocks. You're going to lift a few times and lower off the heel. Very strengthening for the ankle joints. Lift the left leg a little higher. Drop the chest a little lower. And then we're going to take the left knee, wrap it behind the right leg, and have a seat. Shift your legs a little so that your hips are square. Right hand behind the right hip, left arm reaches to sky, left elbow to right knee. Turn and twist. Unwind. Roll over your shins if you can. Get back to down dog however you can. Walk the legs out a little bit, shake the head out a little bit. Inhale forward to your plank. You can always skip it. Lower to earth. Inhale and come up into your cobra or upward facing dog. Hips pull back. Downward facing dog. Reaching your arms long. And then we inhale with the left leg to sky. Three times down the midline. Reaching the left leg, bending the left knee, and opening the left hip. Mindful of the right knee. Keep it outwardly rotating. So you keep long through your right side body. Bring it back to center. Hover for a moment with the left leg. Step the left foot through. Find your way coming into high lunge. Ooh. One side is definitely a little different than the other. Sometimes I have to make sure I'm not standing on a tightrope. So if I go wider with my feet, I have a little bit more balance. And you might find the same. Arms are reaching. Finding that 90 degree in the left knee if you can. And then keeping the side bodies long. Left arm floats behind you, right arm in front of you. Shoulders out of the ears. Inhale, bring it back to center. Both hands to chest. Leaning forward as the hip creases pull back. Right elbow to left thigh. Remember, you can come down to your right knee for this as well. And slowly rotate, open belly and chest to sky. It's not about how far you find yourself going into these particular poses, but can you feel the quality of your breath? Can you feel it reaching into deep crevices, parts of the body that we only can find when we put ourselves into these particular asanas. Release hands down. And then pushing off the back foot, find your way into the standing split. Use your blocks, a chair, or some furniture if you need it. And then notice if you're leaning forward onto the ball of the foot. So make sure you have even weight right now in the entirety of your foot. And you're going to lift several times up and down. Good. Let the heel drop. Reach through both heels. Exhale, lower your chest a little lower. And now the right knee is going to come behind the left. Finding your way, your right hip will drop first. And then we let the left hip come down. Find length. Turn left. Left hand behind left hip. Right elbow can hook to the left thigh if you wish. Can gaze over the left shoulder. And then coming back to center, roll over the shins if that's okay for you. Any way that you can to get yourself back into downward facing dog. Bend knees as much as needed. Lift hips high to the sky. And then start to drop the heels as you keep your hips really high. And bring that length with you as you come into your high plank. And then from high plank, roll over to the outside edge of the right foot, the inside edge of your left foot. And see if you can still find that nice long line. Reaching your left arm up, squeeze left arm. Come back to center. Left hand steps almost to the middle of the mat. Turn outside edge of left foot, inside edge of right foot. Long lines through both side bodies. Right arm reaches overhead. And right hand down. Drop the knees. Bring the toes together. Keep your arms long as you reach your hips back to your heels, finding child's pose. And just feel possibly just a little elevated in the heart rate, maybe even temperature. This is where we're reminded how important our circulation is. Pumping that fresh oxygen through every cell of our body. Good. Inhale, come up. Lift back up to down dog. Please lift the right leg to the sky, keeping side bodies long. Right foot steps through, back heel spins. And then find your way coming up right into reverse warrior. Left hand down the back leg, right arm reaches overhead. So again, instead of leaning so much, just simply pull the arm as close as you can to your ear. So right upper arm towards right ear. Then let the hips drop a little lower. And then from there, slide a little bit more over to the left. The front foot is still doing that clockwise action to stabilize the ankle, the knee, and the hip joint. Come back up. Feel the length. Right forearm to right thigh. Left arm reaches overhead. Squeeze the left arm towards the left side of your face. Left arm reaches up to sky. Okay? And then take a moment here again. Take note of all that length through the left side body that you feel right now. And then try to create that through your right side body as you straighten your right leg to any degree, finding your way into Trikonasana. Remember, you can have a block, you can have your right hand on your shin. Suction the low belly in and turn the chest to the sky. Now you can stay here or reach your left arm overhead one more time. And then we're going to bend into the right knee, let the left arm pull us up. Drop the hips, warrior two. Hands to hips, right toes turn forward. All 10 toes forward, interlace the hands behind the back. Lift through your sternum and exhale, find your way into any forward fold here. Bending the knees, strong straight legs. You can take the knuckles to the sky or keep the hands on your low back. Breathe fully in. A little pause and feel the completion of the exhale. You're really paying attention to the beginning, to the middle, and the end of the breath. Release hands to low back. Push hands into thighs to come up. Heel toe feet a little closer together. Drop back down to the knees. Toes are turned out, knees are turned out. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, drop your right shoulder, look over your left. Inhale back up. Dip left shoulder, look over right. Coming back up. Hands to hips, Heel toe the feet back out. Turn the left toes out. Right arm is a big circle here, letting the right hand come all the way back to the right thigh. Left arm overhead. Squeeze left arm into face, and then lean to the right. And now the left foot is moving more in that counterclockwise to stabilize ankle, knee, and hip. Gaze can be anywhere that feels okay for your neck. Inhaling, coming back up. Keep that long left side body, left forearm to left thigh. Right arm reaches overhead. Outer right foot grounds. Reach. Reach. Breathe. And then right arm floats up to sky. Slowly start to straighten your left leg to any degree. Remember, you can use your block. Arms reach out of chest. Finding length through the torso, the front, the sides, the back. Right arm can reach overhead for one full breath here. And then from here, slowly coming back up, right arm pulls you up. Warrior two. Hands to hips. Left toes turn forward. You can keep your hands on your hips if you like. Find an interlace in the fingers or go one step further, which would be to either hold to your forearms in this forward fold, or you can reverse your Namaskara and let your hands come together at your back. Okay, so you have a few different options to take here for shoulder opener. Take a breath in as you exhale, coming forward. So if you choose this option where you're holding your forearms or you're bringing your hands together at your mid or upper back, you want to pull the head of the arm bones up so you don't drop into the shoulders. So you're working the actions of your upper back. The legs are very active. Pushing down through the feet, lifting up muscularly through your legs. Bending at the knees. Release whatever bind you have. Hands come back to thighs. Push into thighs. Heels in, toes out. Drop hips, take a breath in. As you exhale, drop right shoulder, look over left. Inhale back up. Look over right. Back up. And stand up. Heel toe your feet or hop your feet together. And find your way back into Tadasana. Feeling the length through the bones of your legs. Feel the core of the pelvis drawing in and up gently. Tail anchoring down to earth. And feel all the space through the torso. The back of the neck is long, the sides of the neck are soft. Crown of the head gently reaching to the light overhead. As you feel your roots dive down into the dark depths of the earth. That nurturing, fortified soil. Inhale, reach your arms up, arc back a little. Exhale and fold. Take your inhale, stretch your spine long. Chest lifts halfway. And then please step back to high plank. So even here, Imagine that you are in your Tadasana. And then lower. Inhale, come up. Cobra, or you want to lift it up a little higher into upward facing dog, that's fine. Just make sure you don't feel like you're dumping into your low back. And then exhale, hips pull back, downward facing dog. And take 5 breaths here, either in stillness or in movement. 3 more. Ujjayi breath. Come on down to the knees. A blanket could be handy to sit on. And for those of you at home who tend to be a little tighter through your inner thighs, you can even sit up against a wall. It can be very helpful just to get you or keep you in a really nice alignment. You can sit on the blanket, and then we're going to take the right leg out as the left heel comes in towards the pelvic floor. Okay? And then try to engage your right leg a little bit here. So you feel a firming through your kneecap. Your kneecap shouldn't be just soft and movable. It should actually be really toned, but without pushing through the back of the knee. Okay? And then you're going to turn to your left. Turn to your bent knee. And then keep turning to your bent knee as you slide your right hand down your right leg. Your right elbow might rest on the thigh. You could take a block so there's a higher, let's see, I can show you. So you could even have a block here, okay? Or even down to the shin. Okay? The main thing is the further you go towards your right foot, you don't want your chest to round towards the earth. You want to keep the left collarbone nice and open. And then I always like to take my left hand and just assist a little bit to do an outward rotation or an external rotation with my left thigh. And that usually feels really good on my low back. And then after you do that a couple times, just find a place where you can hang out for about 5 breaths. Feel the tailbone draw down and in. Remember, when we get to seated poses, they're much more intermediate than the standing poses, because now we don't have as much muscle energy through our legs as we do when we stand. So therefore, we have to use the glute muscles more. We have to use the pelvic floor muscles more. Basically what happens is the spine just kind of wants to get loaded down into the SI joints. So we want to create a feeling of lifting up out of the low back as we find this lateral flexion. And then take a final breath. You can stay right here, or one last time, bring the arm up and try to squeeze your arm as close as you can towards the left side of your face. And then inhale, let the left arm pull you back up. I always have to take my time there. This is a really powerful, potent pose for me. So, all right. And then we're going to bring the right foot in, extend the left leg out. It's important too that you're sitting on your blanket in a way that's really supporting you, so you don't feel like the blanket right hip is heavier or higher than your left hip. Okay, you can also put a block under your right knee if you need it. All right, so now once we've been here for a moment, we're going to turn to the right, just to feel the right collarbone and the right ribs open. And then from there, we start to slide. So some of you know I've had some low back issues lately, so I have to be, or am being, very aware and mindful as I move. I think the slower we move, the more knowledge we can get from our bodies. You can feel where the little catches are. You can start to feel at what point you feel the fascia of the body expanding. So many benefits to moving a little slower. So keeping the right chest open, leaning to the left. Take any prop you need. You might even have the flexibility to reach down and hold your left foot. And then the right hand assist in a little external rotation, or simply just pushing that right thigh down a little bit, which can give you more length in your low back. And then find a place to linger for a few breaths. Raising the right arm up. And as our outer right hip stays really heavy, squeeze your right arm to straight. Try to squeeze your right arm as close as you can towards your face, even if you're looking down. And then very slowly anchor your tailbone, reach up through your right arm, and release the right hand down. Okay? All right. And then coming off of the blanket, you'll find your way coming onto your back. When you come onto your back, we're coming right into bridge pose. So when you come onto the back, bending at your knees, bringing the soles and the heels of the feet down. I always remind you to make sure if you have your hair or anything in a ponytail, just move that out of the way so the back of the head can be really nice and flat on the earth. Just take a moment and feel the neutrality of your pelvis. Bring the arms down by your sides. Shrug one shoulder blade in and the other shoulder blade in. Feel that all 10 toes are as forward as they can be. It's very important that you keep the inseams of your feet down when you lift your hips up to the sky for a bridge. And when you get there, we usually have to adjust a little bit. So you might have to draw one scapula in, another scapula in. Just want to make sure you don't pull them down too much where you feel like you're straining your neck. And then lift through the hips, your hamstrings and your glutes. And some of your low back muscles are driving this pose. So use those muscles, lift the hips a little higher. You can even isometrically pull your feet towards one another so your adductor muscles engage. The chest is open, and then slowly lower the hips back down. Again, push into the feet, back of the head, shoulders, lift hips. Exhale, vertebra by vertebra, lower on down. For the third one, if you want to come into a full wheel, bringing your hands by your ears, right? Or this time as you lift your hips, you interlace your fingers under your low back, just for a little bit more depth. So you choose. The one thing I'll remind you of, if you're coming into full wheel, try to keep your toes forward. If you turn your toes out, you're going to decompress in your low back. Keep pushing down to lift up. Breathe. And release. Come down. Unshrug the shoulders a little bit, but maintain that lift through the center of the chest. Please lift the right leg up to the sky. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh, and then squeeze the left knee into the chest. The left knee moves a little bit over to the left to give the right hip just a little more tug. Any knee issues, you're going to flex through the heel. You stabilize into the knee joint. The shoulders and the neck should be soft and relaxed. It's the effort from the arms to pull the knee in closer. Now we're going to bring the left foot down to the earth. Sway the hips just ever so slightly to the right. You're keeping the connection of the heel to the thigh. Arms reach out of the chest, and then both the left knee and the right foot drop over to the left. Now you can take your left hand and hold your right shin or your right ankle. And the entirety, possibly, of the outside of your left leg is down. Just checking in with the right shoulder. Make sure you're not all cranked up, right in the right shoulder. So scoop your right shoulder blade down and under as you look to the right. Now feel like you're breathing into the right side of your body. Into the right rib, up into the right lung. Good, and then we'll slowly come back up. Readjust the hips so you feel like you're back into the midline. Bring both feet down to the floor. Lift left leg up. Cross left ankle over right thigh. And pull right thigh in, holding either behind the thigh or to the front of the shin. Right knee rocks a little over to the right. And as the hip gives you permission, your arms work a little bit more to pull your right thigh a little closer to the right side of the chest. Right foot down, hips sway a little bit over to the left, keeping the connection here, and then both legs, or I should say the right leg, left foot over to the right, reaching left arm out of chest, right hand can hold to the shin so that this leg can really relax. Move this out of the way. When you feel like you've gotten into a position that you can hang out for several breaths, start to really tune in to feeling the breath all along the left side of the body. It's fine to use your thigh bone to bring your foot closer to your right arm. And draw navel to spine, slowly coming back up. Uncross the left foot, feel both feet back on the earth. If it feels good to do a little windshield wipers here, just to alleviate any tension in the low back that may have created. And then we'll take the legs to the sky, the arms to the sky, give everything a little bit of a shake, just one last movement of all that energy moving into those hidden places in the body, busting open those dams of stagnation and anything that's alleviating us from just thriving. Exhale, release it all out. Shavasana. So find a blanket if you need it to cover up. Take something underneath the backs of your knees if you need it. Get yourself set up for a moment here so you can be really comfortable in your Shavasana. You've got some furniture around, taking legs up the wall or legs to the piece of furniture so you can just nurture your low back. If you have something to cover your eyes with, that can be very helpful. Just sends a signal to the nervous system. Just really, really lets you get into that rest and digest. And starting at your feet, feel the bones of your toes, the arches of your feet, your heels, up into the ankle bones. Let's get very heavy, up into both of the shin bones. As they come up and meet the knee joint, feel the knees get soft and relaxed. Moving up your thigh bones to where your thigh bones insert into the hip joints. Feel the hip joints become very heavy into the gluteal muscles as they soften. Feel the low abdomen completely relax. In any kind of vinyasa practice, we're kind of constantly engaging into the pelvic floor and abdomen just to stay safe. And so now, just really let it go, let it relax. Feel the entirety of your spine as though it's just melting into your mat. And then the front body follows, the chest, the sternum, the ribs relax, and all the internal organs reap the benefits of all the spinal rotation this morning. Feel the arms through the elbows and the finger joints and the thumb joints get really relaxed. All the way up into the shoulder joints. They feel heavy. The neck is relaxed into the jaw. The cheekbones, and the inner corners of the eyes very relaxed and soft. No tension in the forehead. So the frontal lobe of the brain is very relaxed. Start to blink the eyes open. Of course, if you want to stay in Shavasana longer, if you have the time, go for it. Or start to reach your body long. The knees squeeze into the chest. Forehead pulls to the knees. And either rocking up to a seat or rolling to your right side to come up nice and slow. I just want to do a minute of alternate nostril breath. So maybe you'll sit back on your heels or find your blanket to sit on. Just again, so the hips are a little elevated, so there's ease in your spine. I'm taking the left hand, palm up, first finger and thumb together. Taking right hand. There's a few different mudras that you can do. Okay, I personally just like to bring the thumb to my right thumb, right, will be to my right nostril, and my ring finger will be to my left nostril. So you can have these two fingers placing right at the third eye. In alternate nostril breath, or Nadi Shodhana, this is the third eye is considered the place to be where the Ida and Pingala cross. So it just can be a way for you to feel these mergings of how we feel. We bring unity and diversity, right? We're bringing opposing sides together. Okay, so, and the pinky finger just kind of hangs out. Okay, so take your breath in. And as you exhale, close your right, exhale left. Inhale left. Closing left, exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Just a couple more rounds. Inhale left. Exhaling right. Inhale right. And exhale left. Release right hand to join the same mudra as the left. I'm just feeling how these opposing energies can find a synergistic balance. How one needs the other. The next inhalation, let's pull the hands together at the center of the chest. And may love and light guide our way today and every day. Namaste. Thanks for tuning in. Have a lovely rest of your day.